Yo, yo, yo. Go Deep episode 138. Cause we're great and you're not. If you're 40 Club, I mean you're not. Everybody else, y'all are great. So, we are in here today talking with my homeboy, Def Justice. This is the first time he's on the show, so everybody, I hope after this show, y'all go to his his Twitter page, and everybody give him a shout out and tell him how great of a show he just did. Dude is a cool dude from the DMV area, DC, Washington, Maryland area. He's a music producer, so I like that part about him, and he got a dope ass song he sent me at the end of this podcast that we're gonna play. But he seems like, a typical Spartan, a Spartan in the making. He hates the bullshit talk that a lot of these dummies get into on Twitter, and he loves Zack Snyder. Good enough for me. So let's get into this podcast. Go Deep episode 138. Homeboy, Def Justice in the building. Don't be a bitch. Merry Christmas. Yeah, bitch.
Straight up, nigga, I'm a money nigga, man. You know what time it is with me, yo. That's right. Take the track, cut the heads off, split it down the middle, man. Take the bones out, man, for real. Yeah, all apple pie, yeah. Straight up, flip mode,
Hey yo, it was the best height since ice. Precise rituals, skated out of Jacobs with the Fruit Loop jewels, holding the navy blue Uzi. Crush grooving waves off the Atlas, cool, and that's how we make movies. Basketball, gun brawlers, bounce, black down, Brillo head banks, Malibu, colorful shanks, that's the way we live. Staten Island kid, old dog in it, the thug vaccine with no pork in it. Vivid imagination, paper chasing, duffel bags rolling, we holding. Drink chocolate milk before we roll in. It's like that, y'all, we gangsters. Sticking on you Bay Ridge bankers. I'm out to get a rent, terrific shit, be the Diamond District. Tiffany's pretty Valentine brick is on the second floor balcony. Gems is magnificent, diamonds is crying. Busta Rhymes, take me, never mind now.
Hey yo, caught him at the Ice Pavilion, dressy salad bar style Nestle. 4 white niggas covered in best pieces, think like a mall flick. Guess who like Patsy in the masterpiece bust? Got aggravated, slapped the glass pieces. One nigga beaming, faggot ass lay on the floor. Yeah, fuck the tightest broken arms who was hush puppies wrapped around drama. Everything realer than fuck. Tawana let my nigga knee slip, comma. 3 young Italians, suited down, personal style. I'm in velour white, designing on the medallions. Felt like some crackers was in back of me. Spit on the clerk, past the Harry Winston set, ghost back at me. Bust a shot motive, 4 million paperwork, Lord. We get together once more before we blow this. Murdered nobody, left them all baseball down, brother. 3 wicked ass 6s, Gucci colors.
Drop dead on the floor, nigga pass the keys in the door. Pass me all the cash in the drawer, or I promise you'll be paying the price. Feeling like a nigga dying twice, execute the world's greatest diamond heist. Y'all niggas know we got to get this. Come on, come on, come on. Break the wall, go space, rock Mars. Come on, let's get this money, nigga.
We hit a mind out west, somewhere in Africa. The feds is after us. Vest on my back, dipping the Acurus. Feel like a Mac bussin'. A brother question on percussion. I bust in your gate, nigga, it's nothing. A hailstorm, ice raining, mind containing. Info, nigga, what you in for? Complaining. 6 bars deep in this language. Did I tell you how my day spent? Speaking through the face of Ronald Reagan. Iceberg history, calligraphy, kaleidoscope colors, hollow head shells and fleeing gunmen. Hate to see me coming like gray skies, your day of judgment. Makes you wonder where the love went. Hit a nigga, feed him to some buzzers. We put up numbers, plus someone to push his mugging. We dug in the safe, check what I'm hugging. Rocks the size of some shit out in the Congo. My arms full, let's get the fuck out, bust.
Hey, yo,
I got you.
Great study on fossils and stones like archaeologists, gemologists. Collect the most precious ices, anonymous. Canary stones, yellow like a pumpkin. Dunkin' Donut precious size stones make me wanna cut the safe open. Way past the blowtorch, Ghost brought the dynamite stick. Marciano brought a chisel with a nice pick. Princess cuts, invisible settings. Planning the world's greatest diamond heist. Playing the tune, my oldest shredding. Icicle cones hang from the ceiling just like stalagmites. Time to throw on a scully and tie the rag tight. Throw it like an orphan in the basket. Grab the necklace, from off the satin pillow out the glass casket. Ice lay across the crushed burgundy velvet up in the diamond slide tray. Gun in your face, slide it right away. Round table with Habib, Marishnikov, and the rest of them Jewish niggas. Got the niggas drunk and talking foolish. See, you know the way we straight manipulated this shit. We swindle them niggas for all they precious things before we skated and shit. Yeah, y'all niggas know we skated early. Disguise ourselves as acidic Jews and even left our sideburns curly. Bounce to Mexico and spend some pesos and bury the diamonds on an island you never heard like Turks and Caicos. Every time we hit, we in and out quick. Don't be surprised if we behind supplying niggas all the platinum and shit. Yeah, the world's greatest jewel heist. Thoroughly and successfully executed by none other than Ghostface Killer, Raekwon the Chef, Rock Marciano, and Busta Rhymes. Job well done, fellas. Very good piece of work.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, word. So how you want me to introduce you? Def Justice?
Sure. Yes, that'll work.
All right, word. So this is Go Deep, episode 138. This is the second show of the day. I got my homeboy, first time interview, Def Justice on. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? What's going on with you?
Ain't shit. Same old shit, dog. Podcasting.
You know it.
Word. So since this is your first time, tell the fans something about you. Who you are, where you from, all that good shit.
So my name is Def Justice. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. You know, been on Twitter for a couple of years. But I met my man right here, Peely.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Good man.
Yep.
Something about myself. As y'all know, if I'm on this podcast, I love comic books. Been reading comic books since I was 5. Favorite comic book, X-Men. You know, it's just the stories that I grew up with.
Right.
You know, and I love Zack Snyder's work, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just since 300. 300 is probably the first film I seen of his. That I saw it like 3 times in theater. So I was like, all right, this the joint.
Hell yeah.
So I really, you know, been focusing on his stuff and, you know, great supporter of the Snyder Cut. You know what I'm saying? We got to see that. We got to get that released, you know.
Right.
Appreciate all my brothers and sisters in the group, you know, supporting the Snyder Cut.
Right.
And I'm just, you know, I'm on Twitter if you need to hit me. You know, I'm just me. Nothing really special. You know, I'm just a guy. I don't like to put, you know, stuff out there. I make music on the side, but if you want to know more, hit me on my Twitter. It's all good.
Right. So you do productions. You like make the beats or what?
Yeah. I've been doing it for some years now.
All right, word. What type of equipment you use?
Right now, I got a Native Instruments machine. Mostly, I don't have a lot of like analog stuff, but I do a lot of computer. I built a computer strictly for music. So,
oh shit.
Got you know, just bought some software with it. You know, Serum, things like that. And I make hip hop, R&B kind of beats, stuff like that.
Right.
You know, sometimes I go to the studio with a couple of my boys. They actually are lyricists, so you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'll put them on the podcast too, so I'm gonna put them on to this, man, so they can listen to it. But if you want, just hit my page, man, and just listen.
Yeah.
JustIceProductions.com. Small plug. But
no.
you know, and just go ahead and check out the music. You know what I'm saying? Just been doing it for a couple of years.
Got a homeboy doing the lyricist, huh? Doing the lyrics. Yeah.
My boy Nick, Nicholas Ali. I'll have to send you the link to his stuff, man.
Right.
He on the up and up, man. He's doing a lot of stuff, man. I was in the studio with him a couple months ago, man. He got a couple albums out, and you know he's on the up and up, man.
All right, word. You got to send me some shit so I can put it in the podcast, though.
I got you. I'm gonna send you my boy. His name's also Justin, but he goes by Marks. I'm gonna have to send him. I'll send him that. If you want to put that on the podcast, I'm gonna send you one of his tracks. All
right. Well, just tell me whichever one you want me to put on, and I'll put it in there.
All right, cool.
All right, so I met you on Twitter. You know, we kind of got kind of the same wavelength, and we kind of like or dislike some of the same shit. So tell me something like, let's see. I know we talk about the 40 Club all the time, right? So what triggers you about them? Because you hit me up sometimes with like screenshots, and when I read it, I'm like, yo, let's just get on the show, though. We can talk about it on a podcast, you know?
I mean, the one thing that it annoys me is like this. It's like, it's in your face. The truth is in your face. But apparently you supposedly know more than everyone else who's seeing the truth. Because, quote unquote, your source is Zach. If Zach's telling you one thing and you saying, you know what I'm saying, it's totally different, it don't make sense, bro.
Right.
You're so deep in the lie, you don't even know what the truth is. And it's like...
Do they say that Zach is their source?
I remember Will Rollins did a video on Vero.
Right.
And one of his screenshots that he used, shout out to Will, that one of his screenshots that he used was that he's pretty much saying your boy Garza's alluding to Zach's source.
Oh, right.
There's no way. There's no way. And my thing is, and people like that, people like the 40 Club and Campia and people like Harloff and people like stuff like that, Collider,
right.
All those people, y'all don't want the Snyder Cut.
Right.
Y'all don't want it to get released, period.
Right.
You put up this stuff where you're trying to say you support the movement, but you got fans attacking other fans' kids and you liking their stuff. You don't want the Snyder Cut.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
So, and how I know people don't want the Snyder Cut, and this is just my inside theory, you gotta watch how they react to other companies' movies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're the kind of person that's saying Zack Snyder, quote, you lying and saying Zack Snyder's innovative, but then on the same sentence you're telling me Endgame is one of the greatest movies ever made, I don't believe nothing you're saying at this point.
Right.
So I'm like, once you said that, or Captain Marvel is one of the greatest female superheroes, get out of my face after that, bro. Like, I don't know what you're saying at this point, because now you're just telling me half truths and all that. So that with them especially, it's like they hold themselves to this higher level.
Right.
Like they've been doing stuff longer than other people. That don't mean nothing.
Right. Exactly.
That don't mean nothing.
Right. If you still got shit, if you got like shit information, it don't matter how long you've been doing it. You still end up being fake news all the time. And I know for a fact that their source is not Zack Snyder. That's so obvious. Not to mention
exactly.
Not to mention like the Spartans, TPZ, and everybody in this little crew. They correspond with Zack Snyder, you know, and a lot of the stuff that the 40 Club would say go against directly what Zack Snyder says, you know? So it's like their source is anti-Zack Snyder, and that's kind of been obvious for a long time, you know?
Exactly. And my thing is, and my headcanon is that their source is doing everything to discredit Zack just so Marvelized things get boosted. Because at the same token, you telling me Shazam is the best thing that ever happened to DCEU. And nah, we not going there. We not going there. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I got an invitation from Fandango to see Shazam 2 weeks before it came out.
Right.
And I went to the theater. I was going through it. I was like, okay, this is a good movie. Going through the movie. It's like, all right, it's okay. Then that stupid cameo happened. And I was like,
with the Superman?
Yeah. And the thing, I remember leaving the theater. My man Stemo was still on Twitter.
Right.
And doing the spoilers without context. And he hit me, was like, they really showed him? And I was like, they ain't show his face, bro. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it was. I was like, nah, I'm not seeing this again. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You know.
I rarely put myself where I'm not seeing another franchise's movies. Like with me, I'm not seeing a new Star Wars.
Right.
I'm not seeing it. So, but when I do that, it's because it's just stuff in the movie rubbed you the wrong way.
Right.
You know?
Right. I definitely.
And these are the kind of movies that people like in the 40 Club and others trying to big up and then downgrade Zach, but then act like they're everything hunky dory and they're part of the movement when they're not.
Right. You're exactly right. So, what do you think this is? Do you think it's like counterintelligence, or would it be like Jeff Johns behind the scenes, or what?
I see. Part of me thinks it's Jeff. Part of me thinks it's Josh. There's this small part of me thinks that is your boy Feige. I don't know why. Because one thing I was asking another person on Twitter if they've noticed any of the actors, because you notice a lot of people outside of the DCU bigging up the Snyder Cut, but if they notice any of the actors from the MCU saying anything about it.
Right.
And they were like, no. And I was like, it's interesting that you got people like Rob Liefeld talking about it, but then you don't hear anything from like, you hear stuff from Anthony Mackie and these stupid jokes about Man of Steel, but you don't hear them anything big enough. I remember back in the day, Henry Cavill did like a superhero day post where he tagged a whole bunch of people from the MCU and none of them responded. And I was like, huh.
Right.
That's how they get down? That's really how they get down?
That's what it seems like.
I'm like, okay, so the MCU is them or bust. Okay, except for the only one I've only really seen is Brie Larson, but she's only Wonder Woman. That's the only one she really talks about.
Right, correct.
So,
correct. Yeah, I mean, it could. I think Kevin Feige and Jeff Johns will probably be like one and the same person, you know?
Yeah, they definitely are. They definitely are.
So let me ask you, before like the Snyder Cut shit, what movies were you watching? Like, what's your type of personality?
Funny story. My older brother got me into when I was a kid, which is bad. I was a child. Was mob type movies. So I was watching a lot of Godfather, Goodfellas, you know, stuff like that. Like Scorsese was one of my favorite directors. Scorsese, my man that directed, I can't even think of his name off the top. Man, he did Fight Club. I can't remember his name. Wow. Fight Club was one of my favorite movies. Right. You know, growing up, stuff like that. Kind of like going against the grain, the action in it, but there's like a message they're trying to deliver with the film. So
right.
You know, and then when comic book movies kind of started getting the hype, I was huge in, of course, in the X-Men, the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man and stuff like that.
Right.
The first Punisher movie was one of my favorites.
Right.
I remember back in the day, Spawn and Blade, like those are the joints, man. Like those are the kind of movies I really rock with.
Definitely.
So like as a kid, like I kind of liked my movies were like my go-to, but like kind of action stuff like and kind of dramas. You know, I'm kind of big into drama films like The Firm and stuff like that. So that's mostly the movies I go to.
All right.
And of course, comic book movies too. So
right. Well, I see kind of like a little theme. So what kind of message are you looking for? Like a conspiracy type message, or you just like gangsters?
A good way to say it is because exactly kind of similar to what happened in Batman v Superman. You're adding a real world message into the story that you're telling. That's where I kind of, you know, get into that's where the films I kind of like, where you kind of telling the life as it is right now is kind of connected. Even it could be a fantasy movie, but there's a message that you're trying to display. That's not a crazy message,
right?
You know that I could like with Batman v Superman. What would the world be like if there really was a Superman? It'd be scary. It'd be for real scary,
right?
Because you don't know what's about to pop off,
right?
You know, and things like that. Like with like for example, Fight Club. Since the establishment pushes people to the brink, things happen,
right?
You know, and so just when stories like that are kind of what I like, kind of attach myself to, and I love seeing things like that. So.
Okay, well, I'm kind of getting your personality now. What about music? Who do you like in the rap game?
As of right now, or in general?
In general.
Growing up, I was a huge Biggie fan.
Okay.
Of course, I like Pac, but I was more kind of aligned to Biggie. There was a story he was telling.
Right.
And I kind of listened to a lot of underground music too. I was a huge MF Doom fan.
Oh shit.
You know, Percy P was one of my favorite
Right.
artists too. Jay Dilla,
Right.
listened to a lot of his musics. Busta was a lot of stuff I listened to. I'm like a lot of old school '90s, early 2000s hip hop.
Right.
It's kind of where I kind of align myself with. Like, I was in high school in the 2000s, but that's where I kind of found a lot. That's where I discovered Nas. That's where I discovered Mobb Deep. That's where I discovered a lot of West Coast stuff. You know, like G-Funk, things like that. And that's kind of like my go-to hip hop.
All right, so you're pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
you passed all the tests, bro. So tell me this: where do you see us right now in the Snyder Cut movement? Do you see us being stronger than ever, or we still got a lot of work to do?
Kind of both.
Right.
With what the records we're breaking with Twitter and the movement that we do, as far as, you know, buying all like the new T-shirts are coming up to support AFSP, sorry. The movement as far as interaction with other fans, going to the Comic-Con, interviews coming up with other celebrities about the Snyder Cut. You got Ryan Reynolds talking about the Snyder Cut,
Right.
because of the movement.
Right.
I think that we're breaking barriers, and Zach is seeing and appreciating what we're doing.
Right.
We still got a lot of more work to do, because I know Warner Brothers sees what we're doing. I would just love for some sort of acknowledgement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel that we are breaking barriers, doing a lot of work, but we still got a lot more work to do. And that's why I love the movement, because we're down to do it. We know the part-timers, but we got a whole lot more of full-timers that can supplant them. That we're down to do whatever we need to do.
Yeah,
you got to do a Twitter campaign, letter writing campaign. You got your mans who had the whole plane flying over Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Will.
That's a huge thing to do. So we had the billboards. We're doing a lot of good work, and we still got to keep at it. We can't slow down.
Right. Definitely. So I kind of see how you feel when the 40 Club comes in, say letter writing ain't shit, you know, Twitter ain't shit, and then you see when they when it works, then they come back and they say like, oh, that was a great idea, you know, we had that idea a long time ago. How does that rub you, you know?
Say that again.
I said, how does that make you feel when you see how wishy-washy certain people in the movement or outside of the movement is?
I'm the kind of person where I'm gonna, if I feel something funny from someone, I'm gonna listen just to see what they're gonna say, so I know where I'm gonna put them at, you know. So the 40 Club can say that we did this back in the day, we've been in this movie, this, that, and the third, and I'm listening. I'm like, no, you're not. Because you saying you do this, that, and the third. None of us saw you, bro.
Right.
none of it. You weren't at the meetings, bro. You was not there. So it's you just listen to what they do. It's just the thing that kind of I won't tolerate is the attacking. If you saying that we're attacking you, but you're the one egging on
exactly
the situations.
Exactly.
You're saying we're the ones bickering with you. But anytime a thing starts, is because you started it. We bringing up the Snyder Cut, but then you have to say, oh, well, like Snyder will post a picture, be black and white, and you come out the woodwork talking about, oh, it's previs.
Right.
Because you know you're going to antagonize somebody in the movement.
Exactly.
So if you ain't got nothing nice to say about the movement, then shut up, bruh. Like, at this point, keep it to yourself. Let us have what we got. If you don't like it, go on to something else.
Right. Yo, why aren't you in the Spartans yet, dog? What's going on?
I didn't know. I'm going to be real with you. I'm like, if you're watching my Twitter, even though I'm doing a lot for the Snyder Cut, my tweets go like to other stuff. So I'm like, am I supposed to be full time in the Spartans?
No.
Battle? I thought I was just a part of the movement. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, okay. Do y'all need me in the Spartans? I'll do what I gotta do.
Yeah, dog, I'm gonna bring you in. Like, all of this shit, I'm just questioning you, and I'm thinking, like, yo, why isn't he in the Spartans yet? Like, what's going on? You know, like, you'll make the perfect Spartan just hearing you talk right now, you know?
And the thing is, you know what, and I was telling Chris this the other day. Shout out to Chris.
Which Chris?
Which makes me laugh.
Vinaldo?
What's his Twitter name? Yes, him.
Yeah.
I was telling this the other day. And my brother hears this, he gonna get mad at me. I do not care. My brother's a part-timer to the T, bro. Because he likes Snyder's vision, but then he doesn't like Snyder's vision. So I'm like, I'm in my own household. Right. I gotta deal with stuff like that, you know? Because he also hates the MCU, which is everybody in my household hates the MCU.
Right. Right.
I think that's what aligned me to Snyder. But like, don't be part-timing with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be part-time, because he's talking about he's full-blown Cavill should get what he wants.
Right.
I'm full-blown finish Snyder's vision.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Man, I'm glad I got to talk to you, because like when I'm sitting in here, and I already did a podcast today, so it was kind of like almost 7 o'clock when it finished up and shit. So then I go back and, you know, hang out with the fellas and people over at the house or whatever, you know, Christmas Eve. And then I'm like, all right, I got to do another podcast at 10. But I never talked to you, like, personally before. So I'm like, damn, I hope this ain't no boring podcast. You know what I mean? But listening to you now, dog, I'm really happy that we went through with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm because I'd never really done a pod before, so I was like, all right, I'm down, whatever you wanted me to do. I didn't know if I was going to be good enough for the pod, so I was, you know, so I was like, I'll give it a shot though. I'm not afraid to do it.
Nah, I'm gonna introduce you to the rest of the Spartans, and so we can get like some more roundtables and shit. I think you and 44 will be a good couple, a good match on the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So tell me, what do you think about Zach lately with the Holy Grail stuff?
I wasn't a real like King Arthur reader back in the day.
Right.
So like I have to do my research on it. People may know more than I do, but I like how he's doing it and kind of setting up, letting the fans know, keep working at it, you're gonna get it, you know, things like that. I like storytellers that kind of build the excitement.
Right.
For readers to do that, you know.
Right.
I like storytellers that do, like he's doing with the 214, he's doing with the King Arthur, the Percival, Holy Grail, all of that. You know? It really, because it's like, okay, this is cool. So I'm, you know, this is cool keening on that and doing research and reading up on it. So.
Right. What about like Henry Cavill kind of saying, well, I don't know much about the Snyder Cut and I'm kind of mad at my mustache. How do you feel about all that shit?
Back in the day before he talked about it, I was really thinking like, okay, Paramount is messing with him right now. They're the ones telling him he can't cut it, blase blah, you know.
Right.
The thing about Henry, he's playing both sides, because you saying this, I don't know about the Snyder Cut, but then you want your next film.
Right.
Well, I don't know about Zach's vision, but I'd love to do a Man of Steel 2.
Right.
You got to choose a side at some point, bro.
Right.
Because even the studio's like, you play in the field.
Right.
You play in the field at this point. And with Henry, I personally don't feel Henry's had a discussion with someone like a Ben. Because Ben's pretty much told you where he's at. He's gone.
Right.
And so I would love for Henry to sit down and talk to Ben and be like, okay, what's the situation? And Ben lay it out. Then Henry can, because I don't think he fully knows, but at the same time, like some people say, recast him. Right. I'm kind of seeing where they're coming from. I don't like they're saying Michael B. Jordan. Let's get all that. They talk about Henry's facial expressions, and you want Michael B. Jordan to be the new Superman. Let's kill that all right now. Let's kill all that right now. I'm talking about facial expressions, but I think that he really needs to. Garcia may be the problem.
Right.
Garcia may be the problem. Like, you got to get rid of her, yo.
Right.
Like, she got to go.
I agree.
And she may be the problem. Kind of like with Patty and Gal.
Right.
There's a problem there. Patty is showing her true colors. There's a problem.
Right. I was just about to ask you about the Patty and Gal. You just feel like maybe it's Patty more than anything else?
Because I remember listening to your last podcast with Swarmy.
Yeah.
If Patty and Jeff Johns is really linked up like that, she's not the move, yo. She's not the move. Because she seems to me kind of like how Ava is with the New God stuff.
Right.
And ignoring everyone telling her, what about Ray Porter?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they were never really for Snyder.
Right. Right.
You know, the only one that's kind of I'm in the air about is Juan, because your movie, although it was kind of cheesy, did a little bit follow Zach's vision with Aquaman not knowing who Mera was.
Right.
But I'm still up in the air. I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know.
Well, he let Zach do some shooting, do some action scenes. Remember?
True. That's
So,
true.
They could have a relationship. You know?
True, but that's the thing. I don't think Patty and Zach have a relationship.
Right. Right.
Anymore, at least.
Right. Right. I feel you. What about Army of the Dead? You interested in seeing that shit?
Oh, I'm gonna see that. It's a done deal. I'm gonna see that. Because seeing that cast, I'm gonna see that. I'm gonna see that, yo.
Right.
There's certain movies where I know I'm gonna see that when it come out. You know.
Right.
There's certain movies that when I'm gonna just see a little bit of the trailer, like, yeah, I'm gonna see that. Like that. I'm waiting for that Bloodshot movie with Vin Diesel because I'm definitely gonna see that.
Yeah. What about any of the DC movies like Birds of Prey or any of those? You interested in seeing that shit?
I'm not seeing Birds of Prey. No disrespect to Margot. I'm not seeing that at all. What are the movies they got? If they're really about to do another DC Black movie, yeah, I'm gonna see that. Wonder Woman, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna get the lay of the land first before I see any of that. Suicide Squad, I'm not a fan of James Gunn, period. So, and once Will was gone, that was it for me. So,
yeah,
I'm not seeing Suicide Squad. They're not gonna get my money. I made that mistake with Captain Marvel. They're not. I saw that in theaters and slept through it. So I'm not making that mistake again.
Man, you're like the perfect Spartan, man. Where you been at this whole time, dog?
I mean, I just been here, man. I just been here. The reason why I love Zach's movies is because it's not Marvelized.
Right.
And by Marvelized, I mean Disney Marvel. I don't mean Marvel in general, because
right.
I'm a lover of Fox's X-Men series.
Right. Correct. Yeah, I agree.
Like, my hot take is they really sabotaged Dark Phoenix for Captain Marvel.
They did. Definitely did.
And I would love if Zach had his hands on a Dark Phoenix saga, bro.
Oh, shit.
That would have been the craziest film.
Oh, wow. I never even thought about that.
If Zach had his hands on any kind of X-Men story, that would be some.
Right.
That would be a good movie, man.
Right. So tell me this: most of the Snyder Cut fans and most of the people in the movement, they had like a weird life growing up, and it seemed like they were all rooting for the underdogs, and they all kind of came together as being underdogs. Tell me about something that maybe triggered you to get into the movement, more than just Zack Snyder. You had to feel like, did you feel any of the people, or like, was it any of the fans that attracted you over here?
Probably Chris Swong.
Yeah.
His videos back in the day, especially when the fan cuts started coming out.
Right.
You know, I was really rooting for the fan cuts to come out. Comic Movie Marks, their reviews of some of the films, and then they did a lot of videos about how critics rate films. my hatred for Rotten Tomatoes is probably one too.
Yep.
That got me into the movement. A lot of the fans on Twitter, like a lot of the fans have really, like I've interacted with Stemo, you, Will, Swarmy, Cat.
Oh yeah.
When CBM cringe was good. when they were actually like MCU cringe and not CBM cringe.
Right.
They was cool. Just so many of the fans, you know, kind of opened up to me, and you know, because I remember seeing Justice League and leaving the theater with my brother and be like, that's not the movie we saw in the trailers.
Right.
That's not the film, because we were sitting there. It was the Flash scene where he saved Wonder Woman. I said, yo, what is up with this scene? Something ain't right. We're sitting in the theater. This is after the mustache. And we're sitting in the theater like, what's up with the lightning? What's up with how he's reacting? Why can't he run straight? Like, what's happening in this film? And I'm like, and I'm doing research like Josh Whedon said that makes so much. This is an Avengers film.
Right.
That's what I was like, nah, I didn't come here to see that.
Right. Definitely. And it was falsely advertised. They said it was a Zack Snyder film, you know?
Yeah, this is the Avengers. Cyborg was your Hulk. Like, if you do the parallels, it was literally the Avengers. Batman was Tony Stark. He rehashed the Avengers. I'm like, I ain't come here to see this film. I couldn't stand the Avengers movies. I didn't like any. The only MCU film that I rock with is Winter Soldier, because I just love that story.
Right.
And Black Panther, because my family's African. That's it.
Oh yeah, your family.
Yeah, my mom and dad are from Ghana.
Oh,
so
okay.
So when I noticed some of the stuff in the film, I was like, okay, boom. Okay, I noticed where this is from. I noticed where this is from. I noticed where like the accents is from. So I'm like, okay, I rock with it. Did I think it was a good movie? It was alright.
Right.
But I still rock with the film. CGI wasn't good, but I still rock with the film.
Right.
You know.
My mom's been to Ghana like 5 or 6 times.
It's a beautiful country, man. It's a beautiful country. I'm going next year for a wedding, so it's a beautiful country, man.
Right, right. Is that the only part of Africa you traveled to?
That one, because I was supposed to go to Egypt, but I didn't have the funds for the ticket.
Right.
That'll be a future trip. A lot of people don't say Egypt's not Africa. It's in Africa. It's a whole other story. And South Africa is another one that I want to go to. So. Damn,
dog. You cool as hell, man. You're like a spitting image of me. You're like my little brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
You're cool as hell, dog.
I just be chilling, man. I just be chilling.
Damn, all right. So when we were losing at first, when we were kind of the underdogs and kind of, you know, getting fucked up online and shit, how were you feeling? Were you vocal to fight back, or were you just sitting back and watching?
Now, which time period would this be? Would it be like the Wall Street Journal article?
Nah, a little bit before that, when Cavill was still big, and you know how he used to talk shit on us every day, and we kind of didn't really know enough information to fight him back. You know, were you in the movement back then?
I was. Here's the thing about Campia, Harloff, Collider, things like that. This goes into where if I want to really feel a person, I just listen. I was in the movie because I was tired of the biases when it came towards films. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Early on, I started to notice that to these people, every single MCU film was getting 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It's one of the greatest cinema choices. And I was like, okay, but what is this hate you have towards BVS? But then you telling me Civil War is a great film. And I'm like, yo, that's what I was like, I'm sticking to this. Because no matter what, we could get a lot of negative attention. We still use the fact that you recognize us. We've won it. That's a W.
Right. Right.
If you giving us attention is a W to me.
Right.
So no matter, even if they were trying to say we're losing, I still feel we was winning because we're in your crosshairs.
Right.
No matter what.
Right.
So that's why early on, like the one thing that's why I said the Wall Street Journal article that did kind of get to me, but then some people was like, nah, this can't be. He's using crap information, and I remember Fiona was saying that he's using crap information. I was like, okay,
Right.
okay,
Right.
we good.
So what about? So you're like a real African American. You know, you're
Yes.
you have roots
Yes.
back and forth. How do you feel about what they did with Cyborg and replaced him with like a Russian family in Justice League? What do you think about that?
I have a real problem with when minorities are taken out of when you don't give attention to stories that people resonate with.
Right.
And now Cyborg, Iris West, things like that. I'm like, it didn't make sense that I don't understand why Josh would, well, I do, but I don't understand why Josh would put some sort of Russian family that has nothing to do with anything. You just filler. And then you had this huge story with Cyborg.
Right.
That you can expand on in his own film. Like if I'm Josh Whedon and I'm angling to try to get this DCEU film stuff, why not use Cyborg stuff and then be like, okay, I'll do a solo film.
Right.
There's more money on the table. And I'll be like, why cut it out and give us this whole crap Russian family? And even Zach is like, wait, what Russian family? So it's like, what was the whole reason of chopping up his film? I don't understand. What was it in the film? Was this Cyborg's family that bothered him like that?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it in Zach's film that caused Jeff Johns, Hamada, all them to chop the film up? Chuzahara? Like, what was it in the film that bothered them so much? And people say the MCU, but what was it in the film that bothered them so much that they had to chop the film up like that? There had to be something in the film. Was it Cyborg's family? I don't know, and it bothered me. And I always just say, like, we got to do this for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. That is.
On the same token, why would you then lie and say, oh, we did this because Josh had to exit, use his daughter's suicide as the reason for his exit?
Right. Right. That's the million-dollar question, man. What's really going on, And it's like...
What's really... Yeah.
It's like Zach, he probably don't want to give much interviews because, somebody might ask him that. But that's like the million-dollar question, dog. What the fuck happened,
All they had to do was delay the film.
Exactly.
I know money, budget, and stuff like that. All they had to... If you really want to be like the MCU, they delay films.
Right.
You see what they did to Dark Phoenix.
Right.
So you all you have to do is all you had to do was delay the film. Yeah. And it just I always want to know. I feel the person whenever their NDA is up that will talk about it will be Ben. Because I feel he saw something and was like, I'm done.
Yeah, it did seem like that because he had that like mad face for a long time.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, I'm not Batman anymore. And you got J.L. Leavitt saying his script was amazing.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I really want to see what's on that script, man. I really would love to see Ben's. Because I'm going to be real with you. I don't really know Matt Reeves' movies. I don't want to knock his choices. Film may be okay. I see it flopping.
Right.
I see it flopping. You've entered the Amazing Spider-Man 2 territory where there's too many characters.
Right. Right.
Everything we're hearing is about you're casting a Penguin, you're casting a Two-Face, you're casting a Catwoman.
Right.
You got too many people. Is this an Arkham game or is it a film? What are we doing?
Right. And there's like no real hype for it. Even when everybody put out, anything with that Batman, Matt Reeves Batman, everyone in the comments says release the Snyder cut. You know, like there's
They're
no hype
burned
for
by
it.
Ben leaving. People realized Ben was a great Batman.
Right.
No matter what, people realized Ben was a great Batman. People wanted to see why this Batman was so aggressive, and I feel like that would have been addressed in Ben's script.
Exactly.
It would have been, and I think now we're getting. I don't want to use this joke, but we're getting Twilight Batman. I really don't want to. I'm really not interested in seeing the film, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know?
There's really no hype for it, man. Imagine right now seeing a trailer or an announcement or anything for a Ben Affleck Batman trilogy. That shit will blow the world up, you know? Like, just the same as the Snyder Cut. It'd be that levels of hypeness, but this hype you're getting right now for Battinson, nobody's really caring about that shit, you know?
I mean, it's one of those. I kind of use this barometer for a film. Am I going to pay to see it in theaters? Am I going to catch it on Epics, or am I going to pirate it? I'm probably just going to wait till this joint hit Epics. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is on. Okay, I'll check it out. You know, I have no interest in seeing. I'm not to knock any of the people who were casted. I have no interest, but I have no interest in seeing this film at all. To be real with you.
Right. Man, you're a cool dude. I don't know if I'm fucking high from the edibles I ate or you're just mad funny, but you got me tripping in the background, dog. I'm telling you.
How many of you had? If you have more than 4, we have a problem.
Nah, it was this one, like a quarter size, like caramel candy, but it was like
I got you.
OG cushion, and I don't know. I'm geeking though. You're tripping me the fuck out back here, bro.
If you want to laugh, there was a Twitter thing about a couple years ago where this dude talked about he had 8 edible brownies. He don't feel a thing, and he didn't tweet for 9 hours. So people were like, "Oh, he's dead." Like he died. You know what I'm saying? At this point, he's dead. Because for 9 hours straight, you didn't hear from dude.
Oh my god. Do you partake in marijuana?
I do not.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll become an addict. I was a heavy drinker some years back.
Yeah.
So I went to a wedding in South Carolina. That I'll have to tell you about that wedding. But I had, I think, 19 rum punches.
God damn.
Yeah, the wedding was a sham.
God.
We were on a plantation in the middle of July. A plantation for a wedding.
You were in Charleston, I bet, because that's where I live at. I live in South Carolina. Oh, you're in Orangeburg. All right, about 45 minutes from me. But yeah, that's where most people, when they get weddings in South Carolina, that's where they go. They go on plantations and shit.
And the one thing about that wedding was you with a wedding full of black people, you don't tell them a cannon's about to go off. A cannon goes off. Now, I can speak for me as a black person. I'm going to dive because I don't know if there's an explosion. I don't know if the whites are finally trying to take their chance to enslave us again. I don't know what's happening at this point. So the cannon goes off and we all dive. The whole wedding was trash. The whole wedding was trash. But that's why I had so many drinks there at the wedding.
Right.
But I realized like after that I was like, you know what? I'm addicted to a lot of stuff, so I try to keep myself clean.
Right.
You know.
I feel you.
So,
I used to smoke heavy, but then I stopped smoking for about. I haven't smoked a blunt in maybe 5 or 6 months, but then I still, like every now and then, if I get an edible, I'll eat that shit. But you do gotta guard yourself from ODing, like just overdoing it, you know, because with weed you just get that I don't give a fuck feeling, you know. So after about everything, you don't want to give a fuck, you know. So then you just smoke and. Next thing you know, you're on your 10th blunt in one day. So you're like, maybe I need to stop this shit, you know?
That was me back in 2013. I was in the hospital for a week with pulmonary embolism.
Damn.
And After I got out the hospital, I had started having back pains. That's why I discovered I had a spinal stenosis.
Damn.
So they gave me this wonderful drug called hydrocodone and muscle relaxers.
Right.
And I realized how people become addicts because
Yep.
those together, it's a great feeling.
Hell yeah.
It's a great feeling.
I know exactly
So
what
I
you mean.
had a pill issue for a little bit. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm not going to really,
I know exactly what you mean. I had to get a tooth pulled one time, and I got those pills, and they feel perfect, you know. I was telling everybody on Facebook, hey, I love you, man, I love you. I was just telling everybody, yo, I love you, but you can easily get addicted to those shit, so you got to stay away from those pills, man.
If you wanna laugh, because when I was having a back pain, I took the muscle relaxer and the hydrocodone at the same time, which you're apparently not supposed to do. And it was early in the morning. I took them. I started feeling like I was sweating heavy, but I felt like everything was cool. I literally sat at my computer and played Mass Effect 3 the whole way through and didn't realize what the heck I was doing. And I was like, yo, I'm sitting there staring at the ending of the game. I was like, did I ever just play this the whole day? I'm just like, oh, yo. See, I'm sweating. And like, you know what? I can't do none of this stuff.
Right. That's funny.
You know?
So, yo, what about, quick question, what Zack Snyder said today, he said he still has it's not 100% finished, but then he was like, yo, but none of my movies pretty much are 100% finished. What do you think about that comment that he said?
I think it's the way he framed it. It deads the whole 40 million.
Right.
Because it's telling you that he did this on his own, right, which is not spending really any money.
Right.
So why is it going to cost him $40 million to finish it?
Right.
And you got Jason's comments from before saying you don't think Zach's got the time to finish it. So it's done to where the studio would probably be happy, but he's got stuff he wants to tweak.
Right.
So I think he probably wants to put the whole, like people were saying, put the old Steppenwolf in there, which would be tight.
Hell yeah.
Maybe scenes from the assembly cut he wants to add. I don't know. There might be stuff with that too. I'm down with whatever he wants to put out. I'm going to see it. So I mean, he got it done. I'm going to see it no matter what.
Right. So
because by now it's sounding 100 times better than what we got.
Exactly. So if you could say something to Zack Snyder right now, what would you say?
I would love to ask him, does Barry hit the Speed Force in the film? Because I want to know, because he has that shot of Barry. If Barry's hitting the Speed Force in the film, and if Warner Brothers is down, not only do you got your plot for the Flash movie, you can still finish Snyder's vision. If Barry's hitting the Speed Force.
Explain.
Because Barry could, like they say, Barry's messed up the timeline. If you're trying to say that you're trying to get away from Zach, but you got Barry probably changing the past, you can still go back and finish up Zach's vision with the 5-movie arc off of some Barry does in his film.
Right. Because he can change it.
Like he can change it. I would love to see that Superman growth. I would love to see the whole Batman arc. I want to see Cyborg's film. I wanted to see Aquaman, how Zach wanted, even though he produced Juan's joint, I wanted to see how Snyder playing for Aquaman, Wonder Woman, all that.
Right.
All that I would love to see, But I would love to sit down and talk to him and be like, hey, yo, about Flash, because Flash is one of my favorite comic book characters.
Right. He is pretty cool.
So, yeah, like, I would love to just sit down and get his mindset about how he wanted to put his powers out there. So.
That's dope, man. So we're about 45 minutes on this one plus 10 minutes on the other one before I had a phone call. So we're pushing an hour. What I normally do right now is I want you to give somebody some shout-outs, whoever's online or whoever you know you want to say what's up to.
Let's see. I want to shout out everybody in the movement. Fiona, our fearless. I did this earlier, but Fiona, our fearless leader. Yeah. You, Chris, Will, Shwarmy, all my homies. My man Audie that follows me. He's a big lover. He's in Indonesia. If he's listening to this, the entire movement, I want to give a shout out to. Shout out to Zach. If he ever gets a chance to hear this, man, fly me out to see it, Zach. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see it. Tyrone Magnus is a big follower of the movement. I don't know if he's listening to us, but shout out to him.
Yeah.
If you see my name on the podcast, you heard my music, shout out to you for listening to my music. I appreciate it. The track that my man is about to play is from a friend of mine. I'll send it to you in a bit, man. Shout out to anybody that sees through the MCU's crap. Shout out to y'all. Just, you know what I'm saying? If you don't rock with, if you stop rocking with the MCU at some point, shout out to y'all. Shout out to people who actually read comics.
Oh, all right.
There's that. You know what I'm saying? Who actually read the comics before they go into a movie, you know.
Right.
Shout out anybody just listening to the podcast for the first time. What's up to y'all, man? Just hit me on Twitter.
Hell yeah.
I'm always available.
How could they reach you on Twitter? What's your name on Twitter? Tell them.
My name is @DefJustice. Don't DM me. Just hit me in public. I would love to answer any question you have. Got a question about the Snyder Cut? Hit me. Got a question about my music? Hit me. Got a question about anything that has nothing to do with politics? I'm down. I'll answer your question. You know, me and you can rock. We can talk. You know, I'm always open.
That's what's up. Yo, I'm gonna bring you into the Spartans. After this, I'll probably edit this shit up tomorrow. It'd be like Christmas, but oh well, I'll put it out tomorrow. And I'm gonna just, cause I put out another podcast today, I'm gonna let Jeff's podcast get a little bit more ride before I put out another.
I got you.
But
I got you.
Send me the music, and then I'm gonna, once we put this out, I'm gonna bring you into the Spartans room and introduce you to everybody.
Is that through Hangouts?
No, that's on Twitter.
Okay, cool. Okay, bet. That'll work.
All right, word. So we about to get into some of your music now, dog. What's the name? Introduce it.
Okay, so this track is from my friend called Marks. The track is called Hillary Banks. Sorry to the females, but this is just a perspective that we see. But you'll get the message when you listen to it. It's on It's on all your DSPs, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, SoundCloud. Go hit up my man Marks. The album is called 94. It's a great album to listen to, but this track right here is called Hillary Banks.
You spent a couple racks on that purse that you wearing, and them purchase of earrings. Supposed to hit the town, night out with your girls, but you thinking my worth the appearance. You sitting in the crib as you versus the mirror, abusing filters, new addiction. You fake your appearance till you hate your appearance. Now it's breaking your spirit. We can read between the lines with the post that you sharing. You crying on the inside, you hope that we hear it. But now you channeling your energy through the remedies and throwing you some power jabs. Taking shots at all your friends and all your enemies. These models made you think you needed you an hourglass. Got you thinking the standard is perfecting your body. Throw effects on your body, then expressing your body. But they just like you, insecurities affecting their bodies. They deflecting through hobbies, hurt won't confess to nobody.
They can never look as good as her. That's what she tell herself. They need help so they can look as good as her. From her head to her toes, oh she know that she bad, bad, but she won't. Inside sad, but she posing, cause they'll never look as good as her. They'll never look as good as her. But it's all in your head, babe. It's all in your head, babe. It's all in your head, babe. But it's alright, it's alright. It's all in your head, babe. It's all in your head. It's all in your head, babe. It's alright, it's alright.
couple racks on that purse that you wearing, and that skirt that you wearing. Supposed to hit the town, night out with your girls, and you know that you worth the appearance. You just thirsting for clearance, looking to coast the McLarens. How you broke but let the cash speak? You with your friends, but it's looking like a track meet. Got your body done last week. Now she looking for an athlete. Trying to come up on a couple mil. Bank. Out here looking for Uncle Phil. Bank. She ain't checking for the other guys. A fanatic for the otherwise. Thinking that you perfected your body. With no substance you probably. Nothing much but a body. Them insecurities, you so out of touch with your body. Left they touching your body, then had enough of your body.
You can never look as good as her. That's what you tell yourself. You need help so you can look as good as her. From your mind to your soul, don't you know that you bad, but you broken. Cause you sit fast, still hoping one day you can look as good as her. You'll never look as good as her. And it's all in your head, babe. It's all in your head, babe. It's all in your head, babe. But it's alright, it's alright. It's all in your head, babe. It's all in your head, babe. It's all in your head, babe. But it's alright, it's alright, it's all.
I'm from the pretty girl county, swear you would be astounded. How many basic biddies on IG became a stallion? Out of towners follow so-called baddies by the thousands, and they all have insecurities as big as mountains. I mean, we all do at one point or another, to be fair. And if we didn't, we would love one another. Be clear with your intentions from the beginning. She said, I rarely get along with other women. Oh really, I'm Hasididdy like Willie to Bangarage, no Hillary Bank statements. The only talk you need to be making if we dating. I ain't hating, baby, get your paper, see you later. Hung up, had some face-to-face time with my lady. She's aggravated, she said we lack communication in the social network generation. How ironic, everyone is so infatuated with being iconic. Seeing likes and being known by so-and-so. It's out of control, might end up alone. Gripping the phone, sick of posing, live it posted. Life is frozen, daily pick up on with every single thing that's wrong with me. I said, baby girl, you're right where you're supposed to be. Trust me, I am in my 20s too. Yeah, I know life is like a bungee, but I'll jump with you. When it isn't real, you fall in love and bounce right back. I don't think you're supposed to slam it to the ground like that.